Hey, what's happening, people? How y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of Messages in the Madness with yours truly, Vernon Longhorn Davis. Thank y'all for stopping in, popping in, dropping in. I appreciate it. Hope you had a great and fabulous week because I did, I will, gonna, because that's just how I roll. So, what I tell y'all a couple of weeks ago, mirror confidence. That person that you look at the mirror in the mirror at on Monday morning, whatever morning it is, you get to decide who you gonna be that day. You get to decide what your day is gonna be like. Despite the things that may happen, you get to decide. And when you look in the mirror and you decide who that person's gonna be, good day, bad day, grumpy day, that's the person that gets to work before you do. That's the person that gets in the car before you do. That's the person that does everything. That's the person that shows up. So show up like me, confident, with that smile, and do what you got to do. Hey, Mr. Annette, how you doing? Yeah, glad you made it. Glad to see you. Hey, Annette, good to see you as well. Brother Roger, great to see you. Y'all come on in. Brother August, good to see you, my friend. Y'all come on in, come on in. And when y'all see Miss Charlotte come in, if she makes it in tonight, don't forget to tell her happy birthday, okay? Because Saturday was her birthday. And yeah. So don't forget to tell her happy birthday when she comes in. I meant to send somebody a text to remind them of the show because they asked me to do that and I didn't do it. And guess what? Too late. I'm already on the air. So, boom, there's that. So, tonight we're going to do something that I don't do very often. Yeah, I'm going to do it anyway because, see, I know I got this little format. It's all about uplifting and I'm not even going to try to explain it. I'm just going to tell you like it is. People understand something. Tonight's message is called It's Not Always About You. And some people find that hard to believe that what? The world doesn't revolve around me? No, it's not, boo boo. It's not all about you. It's not. And some people might be offended by what I got to say, but you know what? I hope you got thick skin tonight, okay? So, again, for those of y'all that'll watch me on LinkedIn and YouTube and all those other places, good evening and welcome to Messages in the Madness with your host, Vernon Longhorn Davis. Tonight is not loud, it's not dramatic, but it might be one of the most freeing things you hear this year. It might be. Let me start plain, okay? Some of you are carrying something that was never yours. It wasn't. It was never yours. You replayed a conversation. You analyzed the tone. You studied a facial expression, and you built a whole internal documentary around a moment. I'm sorry, that's documentary around a moment, and you decided it must have been about you. Something you heard, something you read, something that, and you just thought it was about you. But let me relieve you early. It's not always about you. It's not. Now, I'm not saying you don't matter. I'm not saying you're insignificant. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you don't influence rooms. Not saying that either. What I'm saying to you is you are not the center of every shift, every silence, every mood, and every decision that happens. And that realization is not an insult. It's not. It's not an insult. It's freedom. Miss Nanette has been reminding me of this for years. I'll walk in the house after a meeting, breaking down how someone reacted to something that I said or somebody else said or whatever. I'll analyze the energy. I'll explain how the tone shifted halfway through the discussion. I'll connect the dots and the dots that may or may not exist. She listens. She listens calmly. She listens quietly. And then she looks me in my face because she could tell I'm feeling some kind of way. And she looks me in my face and says, babe, it's not all, it's not always about you. And she says it so calmly. Hey, Miss Marion, good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Now, here's the part I don't say out loud. Sometimes I want it to be about me because if it's about me, I have control. If I caused it, I can correct it. If I influenced it, I can adjust it. If I triggered it, I can fix it. But it's not about me. That means I'm not in control of every atmosphere I walk into. Hey, brother Twan, good to see you, bro. I wonder where my baby sister is at. Mr. Net, you think you could text her for me, please? So it's not about me. But I wish it was. Because then I could control it. But I'm not in control of every atmosphere I walk into. And control is comfortable. It is. So let me take you down the highway right quick. Me and Miss Carolyn. Me and Miss Carolyn and I driving to a show. She's sharing something from her day. And I start doing what I believe is empathy. I insert a similar story. I offer perspective. I try to show understanding. And she looks at me like I got a horn coming out of my forehead with her little snarky self. And she says, Longhorn, it's not about you. And here's the honest confession. Sometimes I catch myself halfway through a sentence realizing I wasn't listening to understand. I was listening to contribute. So I wasn't listening to understand. I was listening to respond. And that's subtle ego, not arrogance, not selflessness. It's just the need to participate. And sometimes the most loving thing I can do is close my mouth. Shut the hell up. Sometimes that's what we need to do, just shut up. We ain't got to offer no extra advice or add anything to it. Sometimes we just need to shut up and listen. But see, that's not natural for communicators. And I fashioned myself a communicator. So it's not natural. But maturity isn't about volume. It's about restraint. You know, there's always that person around, and we all know them, the one more than you person. That's what I call them. We all know that person who's always had one more thing than you have. If you say you just bought a house, they bought two. If you say you ran a 5K, they ran a marathon last year without even training. If you say you just had a baby, they just had twins 2 months apart. I can go on and on. You say you just bought a car. They negotiated 3 deals in one afternoon. You say you adopted a dog. They rescued wolves and trained them to meditate. You can see it before they even start speaking. The upgrade is loading. Now we laugh at that person, but here's the mirror. Sometimes we become that person quietly. And not because we want to compete, but because we want to matter. We want to feel relevant in that moment. We want to demonstrate that we understand. But sometimes connection doesn't require comparison. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes empathy doesn't require elevation. Now let's go deeper. There was a time in my professional life when a shift happened in a room. Conversations changed, access changed, energy felt different. I immediately assumed I had done something wrong. Again, I assumed. I started adjusting my behavior and monitoring my tone. I was trying to read between the lines, and there were no lines for me to read between. They weren't there. Weeks later, I found out the decisions were being made that were above my pay grade. Conversations were happening that had nothing to do with me. And I had been carrying anxiety that was never assigned to me. That's what happens when you assume everything is about you. Yes, you are, baby sis. And I was having some anxieties over here. Where's my baby sister at? I did not get no text message saying you wasn't gonna be here. So, hey, baby sis, good to see you. Um, okay. So, all right. Um, so when we assume that everything is about us, we take ownership of emotional weather that you did not create. And here's the dangerous part. When you believe everything is about you, you either carry blame that doesn't belong to you or you claim credit that isn't yours. Both distort reality. Hey, daughter, I see you late too. You and Auntie both late, but I'm glad to see both of y'all. So, for those of y'all that are just joining us, the message tonight is it's not always about you. So let me take this a little further. Um, Baby sis says you got to stop getting anxious and know I'm fine. Just know life be life and I'm good and I'm in good hands. Yeah, I know all that, but you still my baby sis, so I ain't trying to hear none of that. All right. All right. I need to know. So anyway, how many relationships have suffered because you assumed tone, the tone of the conversation meant rejection? Great question, right? Let's see. Roger said, that's why I stopped hanging out at bars as much. Got tired of people bragging. I just went to socialize. I never think I'm above anyone else. I'd rather talk and to socialize with someone down than someone that talks nonstop about all they do. Wow. Baby sis says I shared it earlier. Make y'all share it too, Madness Fam. Yeah, please like, love, and share the message. I appreciate that. I dig where you coming from, Roger. I do. But you know what? I still like to be around those people because I love to hear what they're gonna say next. It's always interesting. Um, and then it gives me something to talk to y'all about. So again, how many relationships have suffered because you assumed tone meant rejection? How many friendships cooled because you interpreted silence as disrespect? You know, you call somebody and they send you the voicemail and then they don't call you back. You're like, they must not want to be my friend no more. Well, there could have been something happening in their lives at that moment that, they had to send you the voicemail and they just not had a chance to return your call. Or they may have forgot that they sent you the voicemail. But anyway, we've all been there in some way, form, or fashion. How many opportunities did you talk yourself out of because you misread a moment? Wow. We are incredibly creative when it comes to negative imagination. Well, we talked about that earlier on, probably been about a year or so. We are pre-wired for negativity. It's sad, but it's true. We are pre-wired as human beings for negativity, and we let our imaginations run wild. Ain't no telling what our imaginations may come up with. And most of that creativity centers around us. Now, here's the internal mirror, or the mirror that we talked about a couple of weeks, the mirror confidence. And you have to ask yourself this question: why do we do this? Why do we assume every shift connects back to us? Sometimes it's control. Sometimes it's insecurity. It's pride. Sometimes it's fear of being invisible, of not being seen or heard. And sometimes it's simply habit. Happened to me the other day. Me and the guy was talking about, he had on his ball cap. He was a veteran. He's Vietnam. We was talking about that. And I talked about, he talked about his people. I talked about my people. And it just escalated from there. And I told him about my cousin Shantae, who was a major. He goes, "Oh yeah, I got a nephew. He was a colonel." And I just watched it, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, we got to stop this." So I was so glad to get that man my UPS package, so I can send back that Amazon. But when you mature, you start asking a better question, and that better question is this actually about me? So Annette says to assume makes an ass out of you. When someone always takes a tone with you, that's your response. No, I go into happy no, I go into happy in a situation. Okay. So that question, is this actually about me? That's an important question. That question alone can save you hours of stress. It can save marriages. It can save relationships. It can save leaderships from making missteps. It can even save friendships by asking that question. Is this actually about me, or is this about you? Is this about something else? Because, see, if you ask yourself that question, instead of reacting, you pause. Instead of assuming, you inquire, "Hey, what's up? What's going on? Is this about me, or is this about you?" Instead of inserting yourself, maybe you need to just stand back and observe what's really going on, what's happening. So let me apply this to leadership. When someone brings you a concern, do you listen to learn, or do you prepare your response? Because you're just listening to respond. When someone shares frustration, do you hear them, or do you defend yourself? That's a really good question. When someone shares frustration, do you hear them, or do you defend yourself because you think you are part of that frustration? Mm. Strong leaders are not the ones who speak first. They're the ones secure enough to hear everything before responding. And in relationships, this matters even more. It does. This matters even more. I bet you that's Brock saying, try humility. Requires zero verbal response. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. So I got to check and see if that was Brock's. Because I have to go all the way to LinkedIn to find. Yep, that was Brock's. I have to go all the way over to LinkedIn to see what happened and see who's over there. So sometimes your spouse isn't criticizing you. Your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your best friend is not criticizing you. Sometimes they just need venting. I'm sorry. That came out wrong. Sometimes they're just venting. They don't need venting. They're just venting. Sorry, misread my notes. Um, Sometimes your friend isn't distancing themselves from you. Sometimes they're dealing with something internal. Sometimes they got something going on that they got to deal with. It's not even about you. It's about them. It could be their life that, situations that's going on that's completely unrelated. Sometimes, my situation on stages, sometimes the audience member didn't laugh because they were distracted. It wasn't because my joke wasn't funny, but I make it about me because it's like, shit, that was funny. They should be laughing. But maybe they got distracted and didn't get the joke or didn't hear the joke. You're not the emotional thermostat for every room. Okay, Brock, just leave that alone, okay? That's right. Prayers uplifted for Coley. That's right. We're gonna do that. You're not the emotional thermostat for every room. You really not. You're not the cause of every cloud. And when you stop believing you are, something powerful happens. You relax. A weight lifts off your shoulders. You hear birds singing, and you can smell flowers, and the sun rises, and you feel better when you stop believing you are something that you're not. You're right, Brock. Some people have to vet, but it doesn't always need a response. Hey, Miss Coley, good to see you. She said, "What if you are the rug of the family dealing with narcissistic family?" Okay, again, here's my disclaimer, y'all. This show is for informational and entertainment purposes. I do not claim to be a medical or mental professional, or I am a certified life coach. But so I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna say this: Annette sometimes is like cards. You got to change your hand. You got a bad deal. Sometimes you got to change your hand and you got to fold them. You ain't got to play. You ain't got to play the game. You can set boundaries and say, look, this is as far as I'm going. I'm not going no more. I'm not going any further. Does that make sense? Can't nobody make you eat pickles if you don't like pickles. It's really that simple. You get to decide. You get to decide. You get to decide. So, when you relax, you become steadier. You stop chasing explanations. You stop apologizing for things you didn't do. Now I'm gonna repeat that for somebody that, or for those people who need to hear that. You are not the cloud. You are not the cause of every cloud. And when you stop believing you are, something powerful happens. You relax. You become steadier. You stop chasing explanations and expectations. You stop apologizing for things you did not do. You stop defending yourself against accusations that were never made. You stop defending yourself against people that are not there for you. And here's the real freedom: when you stop making everything about you, you also stop needing everything to validate you. You don't need those people to validate who you are. You get to validate you, but it's not always about you, is what I'm trying to get you to see. Sometimes people act the way that they do because, pick one, but it's usually not about you. They're narcissistic. Maybe there's something going on in their life that they need to deal with. You're right. If someone jumps into the lake, do you have to follow? Well, you might want to follow and then call 911. You ain't got to jump in too. Throw them a life preserver, throw them a rope, push the boat out, but you ain't got to jump in the lake with them. Marion, you're right. You can lead a horse to water and watch him swim too while he jump in the lake. But you don't ride the horse into the water. You're right. Sometimes you just got to step back and see what happens. That's facts. You do not need to be the hero of every story. You don't. You can say no to the negative. Thank you, Brother August. Brock says, stop communicating with those who are not in your camp or do not respect you. Oh my God, thank you. Hang with those you respect and appreciate. Coley's throwing you a life preserver. That's right. Live your truth. Do that. But remember, you don't need to be the hero of every story. You just don't. You don't need to be the villain of every setback. You don't need to be the center of every conversation, because you're not. You're absolutely not. You're not the superhero. You're not the villain. You're not the center of every conversation. And just because you walk in the room and folks get quiet don't mean they talking about your ass. They may be talking about something that they don't want everybody to hear. But we put ourselves there. We insert ourselves there. You can simply be present, and presence is powerful. Yes. You can simply be present. That's powerful. So let me land this clearly. That's right. It's not about you. Don't make it about you. But I want to land this clearly. The world does not wake up every morning holding a strategy meeting about you. Nope. That's between you and your higher power, if you are a believer. If you're not a believer, that's on you. But that strategy meeting is between you and your higher power in the morning when you get up. The rest of the world is not part of that meeting. This is not disrespect. This is relief. It's supposed to be relief for you to understand that that the world is not against you. You matter deeply, but you're not responsible for every reaction, every mood, every shift, every silence. Sometimes you are just in the room, and that is enough. The strongest person in the room is not the loudest. It's the one secure enough to do one thing: listen. It's not the one mature enough to ask, hey, is this mine? Is this is this on me? Is this, yeah, what's going on here? It's not the one mature enough to ask that. And if it's not, let it go. Ask them, hey man, what's going on? Is this about me? It ain't about me. Okay, cool. I can move on. If you want to know for sure. But that's what mature people do. It's not always about you. As much as we want it to be, it's not always about us. And when you truly understand that, you're going to walk a little lighter. You're going to have a little pep in your step. You, as a leader, you're going to lead better. And as a family person, a spouse, a significant other, you're going to love deeper. And you're going to be a better friend. And you finally experience peace that isn't built on control. You will do that. You will finally experience peace that isn't built on control. There are positive messages in everything, not just the madness, but in everything. The most centered people in the room are not trying to be the reason for everything. You're right. You're not always the main character. But the most centered people in the room are not trying to be the reason for everything. They understand something simple. The world is full of stories unfolding at the same time. And you're not the main character in all of them. It's not always about you. And that's not rejection. That is reality. And reality, when you accept it, is freedom. Even this reality. And that, my friends, is my message for tonight. It's not always about you. So, y'all got anything else for me in the chat tonight? Nope, you got nothing? Nothing? Hey, before I go, I'm looking for something new to watch on streaming. So I want you to give me the name of the last series that the last Netflix or Prime, the last thing you streamed. Give me that. Give me a list of some new stuff to watch. Jerry says, when you find peace, you find true happiness. Shutting out the haters and not engaging with them is the victory. I say amen to that, man. Amen. You're right, straight shooter. Thank you, Miss Marion, for always loving the show. But y'all, come on, give me some suggestions for what to watch tonight. Can y'all help a brother out? Unless whatever you watching, you can't tell nobody you watching because bam, chicka wow wow. Anyway, you know what I mean. Outer Limits. Okay. Okay. Mention pins for patrons. Oh, yes. That is an honor. Next Sunday, we will still be doing the show next Sunday, but I'll be coming back from Pins for Patriots in Quincy, Illinois. They are raising money for Thank You for Your Service. So here's a little news I'll share with you guys. I by the time that event is over, we will hit 50,000 veterans that we have produced the thank you cards for and awarded. We will be at 50,000. And so this next event going on, this event that they're having up in Quincy, Pens for Patriots, they're raising money to help me to continue on the mission after we hit 50. So kind of proud about that. I just hadn't put it out there yet because I haven't got them out yet. But yeah, 50,000 veterans. 50,000 packages produced. There's a couple of organizations that's still holding on to some of those packages. I don't know what they're holding on to them for, but yeah. So I just want, yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Roger. Looking forward to seeing you and your son there at Pens for Patriots. Um, Bridgerton and Godfather Harlem. Yeah, need something with some British accents. Okay. Baby Sis says, awesome, much needed message because some folks tend to forget it's not all about them and that emotional intelligence is key. Wish you and everyone a fabulous week. That's right. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Coley says the stepmother 1, 2, and 3 movies on Tubi. I don't do Tubi unless I'm watching people I know. Like comedian Shmoogie and Carolyn. That was the last movie I watched on there. Was their movie. Um, Miss Marion says she'd like to be a part of that. You and Coley don't know, but y'all already have been a part of that. But that's a whole nother conversation. All we do is U.S. vets, Annette. So yeah, I think I sent you a thank you packet. Um, Thank you, baby sis. Thank you, Brox. Oh, thanks, Buzz. Yep, $2 to you too, man. Where to get on the package? Way to go on the package. Thank you very much. 90-Day Fiance. There are tons. Okay, I might check that out. Baby sis says I can't suggest anything to watch because I watch scary stuff about real life murders and man. Yeah, I'm cool on that one right there. Yeah, I don't do them. I don't do them real life now, man, because see that be giving no, I don't do that. Mm-mm. All right, y'all, I'm about to get out here. Thank you, Miss. Hey, Miss Ethel, thanks for dropping in, popping in tonight. All right, y'all, let's get up out of here. Man, we coming up on it next month. No, it's March. March 22nd will be 5 years. We have been doing a show every week, y'all. Every week. March 22nd will be 5 years. Oh, I'm just gonna say thank you, Lord. That's what I'm talking about. 5 years. Oh, you watch it sleep like a baby. Okay. Yeah, Roger, I'll see you next week. But yeah, 5 years. We evolved from what the hell Longhorn into messages in the madness. So I'm kind of happy about that. No, I am happy about it. Even got a smile out of me. All right, y'all. I'm supposed to get out of here. So as always, thank you, Annette, for being part of us, for a major part of all this. March in the madness. Okay. I like that. I like that. Yeah, 3 weeks away, baby sis. Wowzers. Yeah. The 22nd of March will be 5 years. Okay, guys, I love you. God loves you. This has been another episode of Messages in the Madness with your host, Vernon Longhorn Davis. And like I say, I love you. God loves you. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Respect yourself. Hug them kids, man. Give them a hug from me. Respect our vets. Until next Sunday, God bless y'all. $2.